Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Dose of Reddit. My name is Sabrina Goodman, and today I'm going to be reading some Tinder horror stories. But before I do, please take a moment to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Please and thank you. Alright, let's start. Here's one here, it's pretty interesting. So this is from one gentleman, and this is what he says. He says, well, I've only gone on one Tinder date. We talked for a bit, and I agreed to pick her up at Starbucks. She looked nothing like her pictures. Yeah, that's usually the case. But I thought I'd be nice and at least hang out with her for a bit. We went to her place and the entire house reeked like cat pee, like saturated. Then, as she proceeded to show me her massive collection of animal tail butt plugs, okay, she screamed at her chihuahua and smacked it right on the nose, and without missing a beat, just asked if I wanted to make out on the couch. Oh, okay, she sounds like a real winner. I awkwardly sat down and pretended to look at my phone and made up that my grandma was dying so I could get the hell out of there. Okay, well, that was interesting. Okay, let's try another one of these Tinder horror stories. This one says, this one girl who was a regular came in and told me about an awful Tinder date she had. Not sure of the specifics, but it wasn't bad enough for her not to bring him home afterward. He leaves the next morning, she brushes it off as a one-night stand, and a few days later, her debit card gets declined. Odd, since she's a bartender herself at a fairly busy place in our city and is good about saving, and she's usually flush with cash. So she goes to check her debit card. Turns out there's a bunch of charges at Best Buy, Grubhub, a bunch of other stuff. Curiously, she checks her credit card too. Smart girl. There she found a bunch of charges for streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Sling, everything. Oh boy, she's in trouble. She goes to confront the guy and finds out he deleted his profile. Oh wow. But she remembers a friend they had in common on Facebook. She reaches out to the mutual friend to try and track him down, and turns out he did this exact same thing to that mutual friend as well. Not sure of what the outcome actually was, but she was out for blood after a mediocre hookup turned into a serious case of identity theft. Wow. So this is why I would never use Tinder. Okay, check this one out. This one says, I talked to him for 2 weeks before we went out and no red flags, so we ended up going out to dinner. I said I hadn't been out in a while because I was trying to save money for a washer and dryer. He told me instead of saving for that, I should save for a boob job. Wow. I didn't even know how to reply, so he followed up with, it's not a bad thing. My sister and my mom both had small boobs and got boob jobs, and they look amazing. He said this all before the waitress even brought our drinks. So I just got up and left. This guy sounds like a real winner. So here's one. This guy says, I have one where I was probably the nightmare. I went on a first date with a girl from Tinder at a Cajun restaurant in Dallas, and I had read recently about some stuff called kratom that is supposed to make you feel really relaxed and euphoric. So I tried to make a tea from the recommended dosage the previous day, but I didn't feel anything off of it. So I figured if this stuff was supposed to make you feel cool and euphoric, then the best time to take it would be for a first date. Sure, why not? And since I didn't feel anything from the first time, I figured I should take more. So I wrapped a ton of it. And kratom is usually sold as a greenish super bitter powder. So a ton of it up inside of balls of deli meat and swallowed those whole before the date. I then went to the lunch feeling nothing until I met the girl and sat down, at which point I suddenly came to the realization that I was a few seconds away from throwing up all that kratom and deli meat in the middle of the restaurant. I excused myself, I got up from the table, I walked a few steps towards the bathroom until I began to violently vomit. At which point I covered my mouth with my hands. I began choking on my own vomit as I sprinted towards the bathroom, leaking a trail of vomit all over the floor in a path towards the bathroom, then continued to violently throw up into a trash can in the bathroom. I then spent a while to clean my face, wash my arms and hands, which were soaked in vomit. This is absolutely gross. I then returned to the table and tried to survive the rest of the lunch date without dying of embarrassment. I felt like a huge asshole and I was really embarrassed. Geez, I wonder why he was embarrassed. Okay guys, that's it for today. Please hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. Thank you so much.